Yo, 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 what's good, family? How you guys doing? How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We got a great one for y'all. We got a great one for y'all. I want you guys to get your popcorn ready for this one because we're going to have a lot of fun with this live. We're going to have a lot of fun with this live. Where else we got? Stephen Diddy Smith. Keep speaking your truth. DMV, what's good? Oh boy, this is going to be a massacre, bro. It's going to be good. Hello from India, DMV. What up? Who's beefing with Charles? We're going to get to it. Ticket been calling you out. I'm not doing none of that, bro. Like, I put my comment up. I'm not beefing with nobody. Y'all need to go find something to do. I'm not beefing with nobody like that. VA, Philly. Where else we got? West Dallas. Shout out to Trinidad. What's good? What's good? Yes, sir. All right. So let's get on it. He said, "You scary. Y'all be trying to run game on people like we didn't all grow up like where we all grew up at. You trying to run game, bro? Like I don't see what you're doing because you want to sit back and enjoy people going back and forth with each other. You talking about you scary, bro? Come on, man. Like you trying to run game. Go run that on your son or one of your little nephews. Don't run it on me, bro. Ain't nobody falling for that." Dudes looking to get entertained, so they're like, "Oh, let me instigate this. He said this. Who you Vlad TV? Are you Vlad TV? He said this about you. He said this about you." And then you sit back and get to watch it, right? I'm not doing none of that bozo work, bro. Go look for somebody else. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith, scared of what? Matter of fact, you know what, man? I ain't got no time for this, bro. So, Stephen A. Smith, as you guys know, I am not a fan of his, right? And I have made my feelings crystal clear on Stephen A. Smith for a number of time, for a long time now, right? And I'm going to break this thing down systematically for you guys. Systematically as to where this started and where it's at. And that's why I put in the title Dreamerspro and Content Creators. You guys see, I rarely put Dreamerspro in the title of my videos. I'm not a narcissist, right? I don't put my title of the name of our show in the videos. We almost never put my face on a thumbnail. I'm just not a narcissist, right? So for me to do it, that means that it's appropriate for me to do it this time. So I haven't been a fan of Stephen A. Smith for quite some time, and I was a huge fan of his. Let me tell you where it started. It started off when Stephen A. Smith started when he made fun of those Nigerian players' names. He made fun of Shohei Ohtani. And I said he would never do this about the people that employ him and the people from that background. He would never make fun of their names and purposefully mispronounce their names for a joke to have a laugh. He would never do that, right? He would never do that. So he knows who he's going to pick on. That's number one. Number two, as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith and people like him are extremely arrogant people. Extremely arrogant people. Prior to YouTubers, and by the way, there were people that came before me on YouTube. These guys used to look at people on YouTube as buffoons. They were like, "Oh, that's just YouTubers. That's just YouTuber. Those guys are nothing. Those guys are nothing. Those guys are nothing." Then what happened? Then after they finally realized, yo, wait a minute, people are big on YouTube, then they finally caught up. So the people like him used to look down on, all of a sudden, he realized, oh my God, wait a minute, these guys have audience over there. Let me go over there and go become a YouTuber. The people he used to look down on, he decided to become one of them. But what did he do? When Stephen A. Smith came to the content creation space, he didn't go through the process like everybody else. No, he came in with his celebrity and he skipped the line. He knew people were going to subscribe to him because he's Stephen A. Smith. He was promoting his show on ESPN First Take at every opportunity he had to grow his channel, right? So he's now saying to himself, like a lot of these extreme narcissists, they get to the space and they're like, well, we're here now. So all of the other content creators who made it a space for us to even be interested in the first place, they got to leave. The people that built up YouTube, they said, no, you guys don't matter. You guys are not journalists. You guys are not X. You guys are not Y. We built the space. And we're here now. We're the real journalists. We're the real reporters or whatever. So therefore, we don't need you. And imagine the arrogance. The JX My High Rollers and all of those guys that built the basketball scene on YouTube, they don't matter anymore. So what happened? Stephen A. Smith comes into the space and he's his usual arrogant self. He grows because YouTube is going to recommend people that are known celebrities and push their channel. Whether their content is great or not is irrelevant. It's just that because they're a known person, they're a public personality, they're going to push their channels. Perfect example of that was Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless almost got no views, but his channel kept on growing and growing. Anybody that's on YouTube knows your channel can't grow if you're not getting views. But they were still pushing it because it's Skip Bayless. So Stephen A. Smith then decides he's going to become a politician and start talking politics, right? And of course, he's upset that people disagree with his political views. So I want to play what Stephen A. Smith said on ESPN First Take. And I believe this is a direct shot at me and other people like me. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's a direct shot at me. The videos that I've made about Stephen A. Smith's political views have all gotten a lot of views. Whether it be on this channel, whether it be on my politics channel, which I'll show to y'all in a second. So he sees it. The video of the last year when he was going at Jasmine Crockett, when he was making a complete buffoon of himself, this channel had the most watched video on Jasmine Crockett. This channel that y'all are sitting on. We got over 500,000 views. This channel right here. So if everybody saw it, he saw it, right? And in his mind, he's pissed off because I'm Stephen A. Smith. I'm the only one, me and my celebrity buddies are the only ones worthy of getting views. And everybody else shouldn't listen to them because they're not journalists. Let me play you what he said on ESPN First Take. They're talking about people who avoid to be the face of the league. Listen to what Stephen A. Smith said, and I'm about to flame his ass. Just listen to this.
So you have that very pervasive in our society. I'm here to tell you, you can't even blame them. Because when we live in a society where the median salary is anywhere from $65,000 to $75,000 a year, and you can have a subpar YouTube show that's going to get you double that, if not more, then that's a way to make some money. You understand? And that's what a lot of people are thinking about. So even though they thump thugs, the bottom line is there's a method to their madness in terms of generating revenue for themselves without having to go out in corporate America and answer to somebody working a 9 to 5. These are things that go on. Why is that relevant to the players? Because everybody got something to say. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to put themselves in that bubble because they're thinking about what they have to sacrifice as opposed to what they can give. I got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people look at me and say, Stephen A., why would you do this? Why would you do that or whatever? Well, it's because I believe I can make a difference. So if I believe I can make a difference, my mentality is that here's where I'm coming from with it. Doesn't mean I'm going to go all the way where you think I'm going to go or where you want me to go. But the point is I'm going to position myself to make a difference. And whatever heat has to come my way in order for me to facilitate making that difference, I don't mind doing it because I'm thinking about the exponential amount of lives I can affect in a positive way as opposed to what it's going to cost me. Because I'm not worried about how I'm living. My attitude is, I live a good life, but I live a relatively boring life. Keep searching. You ain't going to find out but so much about me because there's but so much I'm doing. Right. If you are playing your 20s.
Let me rewind that again, and I want y'all to listen to that again.
Why would you not want to be the face of the league? You know why? because we live in a very invasive society who's incredibly cruel. And as you got these thumb thugs, that's what I call them, thumb thugs. You understand? They get on their phones or their laptops or their iPads and they want to act like they big and bad, talking smack and shit. Don't got no kind of resume, don't got no kind of resume, don't got no kind of credentials or whatsoever. All they want to do is talk about folks, but they ain't done anything, okay? So you have that very pervasive in our society. I'm here to tell you, you can't even blame them. Because when we live in a society where the median salary is anywhere from 65 to 75,000 a year, and you could have a subpar YouTube show that's going to get you double that, if not more, then that's a way to make some money. You understand? And that's what a lot of people are thinking about. So even though they thumb thugs, the bottom line is there's a method to their madness in terms of generating revenue for themselves without having to go out in corporate America and answer to somebody working a 9 to 5. These are things that go on. Why is that relevant to the players? Because everybody got something to say. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to put themselves in that bubble.
Okay. You heard what he had to say. He's calling YouTubers, what do you call it? Subpar. They're using this as a way to make money. The average medium salary in America is $65,000. So if you do YouTube, you can earn double, triple, whatever has to happen, and all of that stuff, right? He said, you have been using Stephen A. Smith's name for clout and clicks for years, but had the audacity to cry the one time he responds, y'all are coward. I'm not crying, but I'm gonna break it down for y'all. So let's get into this here. I want to point out something to you. Stephen A. Smith is talking about people that don't have the credentials to talk sports. Yet, him as a journalist and a media personality is flirting with the idea of running for president. Can somebody in this world make this make sense to me? He's saying we don't have any right to talk about him or basketball because we didn't work in corporate America. But yet him, with no track record in terms of politics, talks politics every day and also wants to run for president. How do we make sense out of this nonsense? That's the first thing. The second thing is this. The reality is this. Forget about the fact that I have an issue with Stephen A. Smith. I can list you 10 people that are celebrities that don't like Stephen A. Smith. It's not just a me thing. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not. But you have celebrities that don't like him. He is constantly being called out by various celebrities, athletes. You go down the list. Athletes have called him out on his show, to his face, on other shows. We're not even going to bring up Terrell Owens. Recently, Jasmine Crockett, D.L. Hughley, Don Lemon, Willie D. Live. I forgot the other person's name. You can go on and on and on and on and on and on of the various celebrities that have called this guy out. Now, I want to give you guys a quick fact check here. Stephen A. Smith has over 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, right? Where he talks politics and sports occasionally. I'm going to name you some names. And I'm almost certain that most people won't even know who they are. Just going to name you some names. Secular Talk. David Pakman. Jack Cocciarella. Pondering Politics. Reese Waters. I've Had It. Jess Dolomore. Farron Balanced. These are people that most people don't even know. They don't even know. These guys dwarf Stephen A. Smith in terms of views in politics. They dwarf him. Have you ever heard of a guy called Brian Tyler Cohen? Stephen A. Smith wishes he had that guy's influence. He's just a guy. He didn't serve in office. He wasn't a senator. He wasn't a member of the House of Representatives. He wasn't a governor. He wasn't a mayor. He was a guy that was interested in politics and talks it. He gets about 200 million views a month on YouTube. A month. 200 million. A month. And as much as he knows about politics, even he is not arrogant enough to say, I want to run for president. But Stephen A. Smith, who knows nothing about politics, wants to run for president. But then is turning around saying people like myself didn't work in corporate America, so what gives us the right to talk about basketball? Can you make it make sense? Can you make it make sense? Can you make it make sense? He's saying we don't have any credentials. We never worked in corporate America, yet he, as a sports journalist, wants to run for president and wants people to take him seriously. Why? Not because he has any political experience. No, he wants people to take him seriously because his name is Stephen A. Smith. The issue I have with Stephen A. Smith, a lot of people do. Famous and not famous. But I want to say for the record, Stephen A. Smith is a little nigga in the world of politics. All of these creators I just named for you, they dwarf him. They dwarf his views. They dwarf him. They dwarf him. They get way more views than him. It's not even remotely close. And they're nowhere near as arrogant as he is. Another thing, Stephen A. Smith, since you want to run for president, my grandfather was the first financial secretary of his country, right? And he was also a senator. Let me teach you something about politics. I don't have a big mouth like you, so I don't go around showing my ass and letting people know everything about my background like you do. Let me teach you something about politics. It would behoove you, as someone that is running for president, that is considering to run for president, it would behoove you to not come off as an elitist. It would behoove you. You sound like an elitist. That those who are only the celebrities and those in the realms, in the corridors of power, they're the only ones that opinions matter. But you want to run for everyday Americans. What is your track record for anybody to take you seriously on anything in terms of politics? Beyond the fact that you work on ESPN, why should we listen to you when it comes to politics? People that have been in politics for a long time say you don't know what the hell you're talking about. People that have been in politics for a long time say you have no idea what you're talking about. You're on TV and you went on the Chris Cuomo show and said you don't even know if the Epstein files exist, bro. You said that. But you want to run for president. Let me read these comments. Dreamerspro just mad because Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James don't give you a West Virginia. I don't know what that means, bro. Anyway, yeah. So this is our editor right here. This is Mitch. He always trolling me in the comment section. Let me say, he said your editor has the education and TV newsroom experience credentials on his resume. If Stephen A. Smith was a competent researcher / journalist, he would have found that out before running his mouth. Appreciate the super chat. Yo, Mitch, you funny, man. Anyway, so I'm gonna play it for y'all again, and I think content creators should be offended. If you're a content creator, you should be offended by this guy. This guy came into a space that was already created for him. The guys that laid the foundation created the basketball space on YouTube. He comes into it and is now talking down on everything, or talking down on the guys that actually created a space for him. Let me read it. I thought you said you weren't going to cry. Bro, I don't know, man. Coach, you wasting your money, bro. I don't know why you keep sending $5 every time. You're wasting your money. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Let me play this video for you again. So this is what Stephen A. Smith had to say on First Take today.
Why would you not want to be the face of the league? You know why? Because we live in a very invasive society who's incredibly cruel. And as you got these thumb thugs, that's what I call them, thumb thugs. You understand? They get on their phones or their laptops or their iPads and they want to act like they big and bad, talking smack and shit. Don't got no kind of resume, don't got no kind of credentials or whatsoever. All they want to do is talk about folks, but they ain't done anything, okay? So you have that very pervasive in our society. I'm here to tell you, you can't even blame them. Because when we live in a society where the median salary is anywhere from $65,000 to $75,000 a year, and you can have a subpar YouTube show that's going to get you double that, if not more, then that's a way to make some money. You understand? And that's what a lot of people are thinking about. So even though they thumb thugs, the bottom line is there's a method to their madness in terms of generating revenue for themselves without having to go out in corporate America and answer to somebody working a 9 to 5. These are things.
Okay. Let me address the corporate America thing. Stephen A. Smith, it's not everybody that wants to work in corporate America, bro. It's not everybody. It's not everybody that wants to work for somebody, bro. Some people want to be entrepreneurs. Some people want to do things for themselves. They don't want to go work for somebody. And the people that work for other people, they at least have more self-respect than to say the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is how much money I can make for my bosses. And then I think about how much money I can make for myself. You're in corporate America to make money, bro. The only reason you came to YouTube is because you saw how much money Pat McAfee got from the Pat McAfee show, and you came on YouTube because it's a money grab. That's why you came here. Who are we fooling? Everything you do is about money. You can be mediocre in corporate America and still make it. This isn't a flex. Stephen A. client. So that's the first thing. Since Stephen A. Smith wants to talk, the guy that says people like us that are content creators don't have the credentials to talk, but the guy that wants to run for president, he wants to talk. Let me play a video, and I want you guys to take a look at Stephen A. Smith's business acumen, a political acumen here, and how skillful he is as a politician. I want to play a clip for y'all that he did on an interview for CBS. Look at Stephen A. Smith here. It's a video from Twitter. Let me play it for you.
Like what I'm seeing, but everything. Like what I'm seeing, but everything that he does is not wrong. The borders needed to be closed. He was right to do that, but only because Biden opened them. Had Biden followed Barack Obama's method and his plan and what he did in deporting even more people than Trump did in his first term, you wouldn't hear me saying that. But when you let anywhere from 12 to 15 million people cross the border illegally, swearing in our face, spitting in our face and telling us it's raining, figuratively speaking, by telling us there was no border crisis when clearly there was, emergency efforts were necessary. I respectfully like.
Let me play again. So the question is, what does Stephen A. think about the job that President Trump did at closing the border? And I want you to see how this guy grifts from one side to the other. First, he praises the president, criticizes Biden, then praises Obama, then criticizes the president again. Let me play it for you. And at the end of all of this, you walk away not even knowing what his position is. Watch this.
what I'm seeing, but everything that he does is not wrong. The borders needed to be closed. He was right to do that, but only because Biden opened them. Had Biden followed Barack Obama's method and his plan and what he did in deporting even more people than Trump did in his first term, you wouldn't hear me saying that. But when you let anywhere from 12 to 15 million people cross the border illegally, swearing in our face, spitting in our face and telling us it's raining, figuratively speaking, by telling us there was no border crisis when clearly there was, emergency efforts were necessary.
Let me play this next video for you. Now here he's talking about race relations in the United States. Let me play this one for you. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here.
For president? No. I know it exists.
Does he worry about racism if he ran for president?
No. I know it exists. I know that you can't escape it, but I do not believe it is as prevalent as some on the left would like us to believe. I do believe a vast majority of Americans judge you on the content of your individual character rather than the color of your skin. I think a lot of people in America, especially in this day and age, now more so than ever before, it's not about race. It's about the fact that they don't give a damn about it because they got their own problems. That's entirely different than believing they are superior to you and they want to hold you back from ascending. That's not what's going on to the degree that it was decades ago. What's going on now is that we have more white Americans and others suffering and worried about the state of our nation. And because they're concerned about that, that's where their worries lie. Last tweet.
Bro, this is the guy y'all this is the guy that's talking about content creators. This is the guy that wants to run for president. This is the guy that wants to run for president. If Stephen A. Smith were to run for president, what political party would he run for? Put it in the comments. What political party would he run for? What political party? He's going to be a Democrat. He said a birthday party. What party? What party is Stephen A? He's going to run. Stephen A. Smith going to run as a Democrat. What Democrat in America is going to vote for Stephen A. Smith when you spent all of 2025 trashing the Democratic Party? What Democrat is going to vote for him? What Democrat will vote for him? Who? What Democrat? If he runs as a Republican, I don't know. Are there any Republicans watching this show? I'm probably sure they are. If you're a Republican, put 1 in the chat if you would vote for Stephen A. Smith. Put 0 if you wouldn't. Let's see what the Republicans say. If from the entire field, let's see if Republicans even take Stephen A. Smith seriously. Please, let's hear it. This is only for Republicans. There are no Republicans that are going to vote for Stephen A. Smith. None. And this is the problem when you grift. Because at the end, you end up with nobody supporting you. You end up with nobody supporting you. You talking about, oh, I'm going to run for you think about running for president? Bro, you voted for Kamala Harris. You voted for Kamala Harris. Then the next day that she lost, you're talking about, I regret my vote. Republicans see through your grift, my man. They see through your grift. The only thing the Republicans want you to do is run as a Democrat and go take away some votes for a more qualified candidate. That's your only utility to them. No Republican is seriously considering Stephen A. Smith as a presidential nominee or as a nominee for the Republican Party. No Republican is. They'll invite you on their show. You can talk and shoot the breeze. But when it comes time to vote, they're going to be looking at more serious candidates and not you. Not you. You can't even stand up to LeBron James. How are you going to stand up to Vladimir Putin? You can't even stand up to LeBron James, bro. But you want to go be president and go actually deal with dictators and real leaders. You're going to be at the G7 summit, agreeing and disagreeing with everything. Well, everybody here is up here. It's like, who are we kidding here? Who? And the saddest part is you feel that you're qualified to run for office, but then we that don't have backgrounds in journalism, we're not qualified to talk basketball. But because you went to corporate America, you are. Bro, people in your own industry have said half of the time you don't know what the hell you're talking about. These are people in your own industry. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about sports. There are people that are accusing you of not being a real Knick fan, of not even knowing the names of Knick players, of playing solitaire during a playoff game, of not really knowing football, but yet you're lecturing people that fans don't have the right to talk about sports. That if you didn't go to corporate America, therefore you can't have a view on sports. Who are you kidding? You are not a politician, but you talk it every day. Every day. Every day you speak, you talk politics, but you never ran for office. I'm confused. And if it comes to making money, bro, there are guys in politics, political media that make more money than you, and they're not as loud as you or as arrogant as you. They're not. There are people that do way more than you in this space. I just listed a few that do way more than you. You're on TV looking down at everyday people, but then talking about you want to make the world better for everyday people. Can you make it make sense, bro? How's that going to work? So I just wanted to touch on this. I'll also be talking about it on my politics channel as well. And let me just put a last fork in this guy before we're done with it. Because some people feel like, you got to talk about Stephen A. Smith to get views on your political channel. Bro, where you see Stephen A. Smith name at? How many times does he show up in these videos that I'm doing on my politics channel? How many? You got one right there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Like, what are we talking about, bro? I'm studying it. I'm not saying I'm an expert. But you're definitely not an expert on politics to be lecturing people. Like, what are we talking about? People accuse you of not knowing sports, but yet you're making $100 million. God bless you. When you got your contract, I applauded him. Did I not? When Stephen A. Smith got his $100 million contract, did I not applaud him and say congratulations to him? Some people were not happy about it. I applauded him because I'm not hating on your money. And what is this fascination with you pocket watching, bro? Why are you always counting somebody's pockets? What is this fashion? And what does somebody's pockets have to do with whether or not they know what they're talking about? What does how much money somebody makes as a content creator have to do if whether or not their views are valid or not? So the people that make the most money are the ones that are always right? Really? Really? I'll read this comment. You were not able to stand up to LeBron, but you want to face Vladimir Putin. Dude, haha. Don't do him like that. Come on. Bro, like, what are we talking about? Stephen A. Smith is going to run for president? He can't even stand up to LeBron James. To LeBron. 1 minute he says something, the next minute he's apologizing. The next minute he's tough. Put the camera on me. The next minute, I'm apologizing. Like, bro, come on, stop. Come on, stop. But you want to run for president. Nobody wants you to run for president, bro. Nobody's going to vote for you. Nobody. How many people in sports have called out Stephen A. Smith, bro? How many? Y'all are making it seem like it's just a me thing. No, bro. People in his own field don't like him. Most people don't like him. Whether they're athletes or entertainers or journalists, they don't like him. We're not even going to mention people in music and all of those. They all be getting on this dude, bro. How many people that have heard Stephen A. Smith talk about politics say he doesn't know what he's talking about? This guy was on a panel on News Nation last year, heading into election night, with Bill O'Reilly, James Carville, Chris Cuomo, and Stephen A. Smith. Before he even talks, says, "Hey, man, everybody up here, you know, I'm not an expert like the rest of these guys, but now that I've said that, let me go ahead and give you my viewpoint." You have openly admitted you're not an expert in politics, but you want to run for office. But then want to say we didn't work in corporate America, so why do we talk? What do you mean credentials, bro? This is welcome to 2000 to 2020s, bro. You can be successful without working in corporate America. I just heard yesterday Kai Cenat makes $4 million a year. Is he in corporate America? The guy makes $4 million a year. A month. That dude is making over $50-60 million a year, more than you. Is he in corporate America? Well, you respect him because he makes a lot of money. Oh my God, bro. If you're a content creator, you should be offended because this guy believes that only him and his elite friends are the ones that deserve to talk. But if you go into the political world and ask people what they think about him, they think he doesn't know anything that he's talking about, Republican or Democrat. And what has happened is they've given him confidence because they platformed him. And because they platformed him, he now feels like he knows politics. And because President Trump said, "I would love for Stephen A. Smith to run for office," he now felt emboldened to run. Stephen A. Smith believes that Donald Trump wants him to run for office so he can win. You can't make this up. Donald Trump wants Stephen A. Smith to be president. You better off saying he wants Santa Claus to be president or Ronald McDonald. Do you remember when Joe Rogan was looking at Stephen A. Smith like he was crazy during a UFC event? Of course I do. Of course, bro. These are his contemporaries. They don't like him. Every other day, some NBA player or journalist is getting at him. Every other day. Now he wants to run for president. So, guys, look, man, I've said my piece. I'll be talking about this a little bit later on my politics channel. If you guys want to go check that out, I'll talk about it there from a much more political angle instead of sports. I'll talk about it there where I can really get into this guy's political takes because they're absolutely atrocious. So if you want to hear some of my political views in response to this guy, that's the channel right there. You can go subscribe. No, I don't want to be president. No. I don't even want to. Please. I'm not as arrogant as Stephen A. Smith. I don't want to be president. If anything, if I was to run for office, let me run for one of those local offices first. Let me start off there first. Let me bring my head down and be humble first. Let me start from the grassroots where I can actually learn something. I'm not going to be arrogant enough to say I want to run for president. I'm not that arrogant. Let me start somewhere where I can actually learn. The guy didn't even say I want to run for governor or House representative. He didn't even say that. He said he wants to run for president because you won't wake up and run for president. Some people blame him and Skip and Sid Rosenberg for destroying local sports talk radio. Because people in his own field, Dan Le Batard, thank you for bringing up that. Even Dan Le Batard was saying this guy ruined sports media. They ruined it. So this is my take on it, man. I said my piece. If you guys want to sub to that channel, I'm going to be going live a little bit later on that channel. I got a lot of content dropping there, but I will respond to this dude. So content creators, I just want y'all to know this dude don't think y'all should be talking. If you're not a celebrity like Shannon Sharp and one of these guys, they don't want you to have a view. They don't want you to have a viewpoint. They want it to be that it's only them and their friends that control the narrative. And what he's going to discover is that's not going to work in the world of politics. You can't, oh, my friend is the one that grows. No, buddy. You actually got to know what the hell you're talking about. That's how you grow. You don't grow by celebrity. These are my thoughts. You guys have a good one, man. I'm going to catch you guys on the next show, and I'm out.